Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 71 of Ask the Accountant, our weekly live episode, going live to all of our social media channels. And obviously, you can listen back to us when we go and publish our podcast every Wednesday morning. First of all, apologies. We are 5 minutes behind schedule, 7 minutes behind schedule. Oh my God. On a day when we've all got tight deadlines as well. We're 7 minutes behind schedule because someone didn't understand the difference between AM and PM. And when you set up a stream and say you're going to do it on a set time, LinkedIn's very strict about what time you will do it, and you cannot go early or late. So setting this up for 8:30 p.m. on a Monday evening was not going to work. But we're here, we're fixed. Aaron, you're not where you belong. I'm not where I belong. Where are you today?
Well, according to my camera, it looks like I'm in heaven. Like it's just glowing. So I'm at the office, ready to get to London for QuickBooks Get Connected. But I think more importantly is your story. I think we need to know why you're not sat in in Edinburgh, is it? It doesn't look like Edinburgh.
No, I'm not in Edinburgh. I have had the weekend in London. So we came down to London on Friday. So Thursday night, went and watched James Acaster in Edinburgh. Yep. Fine. Put it that way.
That's all we get. Fine.
He's very frustrating to watch because you've gone down to the opposite end of heaven now. It's gone dark. He's very frustrating to watch because he encourages and indulges in hecklers, so you never get through his content. So I reckon we probably missed about half an hour's worth of his content on Thursday night because he was too busy arguing with hecklers and encouraging them, which is, when I just want to sit there and listen to their content. I don't want to listen to some banshee in the back god screeching at her top of her voice. Did that Friday down to London for Peter Kay on Saturday night, which was fantastic. Peter Kay has not lost any of his ability to make you laugh over the years, bless him. He's lost a lot of weight, but he's not lost his ability to make you laugh. He's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, Murrayfield Stadium, take note of how the O2 handle crowds, because it was so slick. Like, you came out of the O2, you walked over to the trams weren't crowded, the underground wasn't crowded or anything. It was just so well organised.
In fairness, though, the O2 was purposely built for an event, wasn't it? In that you got to give them that in their back pocket, right? Like the whole infrastructure. What was it before? Because it was the Millennium Day, wasn't it? Wasn't it just Wasteland or something beforehand?
I don't know what it was before then. Probably Wasteland. It was a fantastic venue, very well organised, very easy to get to. Really enjoyed that. And then spent the rest of the weekend being tourist in London. Booked a time slot to go to the British Museum to find out, that doesn't really matter. You just still join the 2-hour queue to get in. So, no thanks. Yeah,
it was 2 hours.
Yeah, round the block to get in. It's like, well, yeah, no thanks. Very, very much enjoyed London. So I'm down here ready. I was coming down for the Peter Kay show, so it made sense. I'll just stay Monday and I'll go over to QuickBooks in Woolwich for the QuickBooks event tomorrow. It was good. It was very good. Ready to get back into it though. Looking forward to the QuickBooks event tomorrow. We'll cover that later though. We've got lots of stuff to go through. Anything else you want to tell us about your weekend, Aaron?
It was my birthday, so that's one thing, isn't it? But yeah, if you haven't seen it, the only thing I'd recommend to look at is that cake. Just look on LinkedIn or any social media platform. Just have a look at the cake that was made, because the cake was absolutely sensational. Absolutely smashed it out of the park with it. And I think my favorite part about the cake is that it's actually going to be one we're going to, because normally I keep getting these like fancy cakes. I'm like, we'll never eat it or anything else. And here's the cake for anyone who's not seen it on the camera. But we've actually agreed we're going to eat this cake. We're going to keep the little figurines that were made, but we're actually going to eat it as well. So yeah, good fun. I can't wait to trial it, see how it goes. I mean, we're not at it yet, but we'll eat it at some point. So that was good. Yeah, but overall, good weekend. So yeah, can't complain. Next weekend's going to be more exciting. I think we're in Italy, so be exciting.
Nice.
We'll do Ask the Accountant Italian edition this time next week. So
Italian job. Fantastic. Cool. Okay, right. Let's crack on with our topics for today. So first of all, let's say hello to the people in the comments. Hi, Dave. That's it.
I've got a feeling this.
This 7 minute late one. This is a headache here. 7
minutes, and I'm wondering how many people are sat on the old stream waiting, going,
yes,
what's going on here?
Kirsty's here. That's all right. And morning, Cheryl. Good. So some people are getting this, so it is working somewhere. YouTube and LinkedIn, it seems to be working. But yeah, this is what happens when you break routine, people. Get into routine and you'll be fine. So okay, let's go through our headlines. So after my apologies for being late, I need to make another apology or correction. Out of our control somewhat, this one though. So last week we told the world about double cab pickup trucks and their new taxation policy from HMRC. Within hours of that announcement, and we feel, due to the weight we put behind this topic, HMRC have now reversed that policy and it will not be coming into effect. This is the power of Ask the Accountant podcast, people. When we pick up a point, people action it. That's right, Aaron, isn't it?
Was this the step too far for HMRC? Was this the one where they went, wow, they're talking about Ask the Accountant?
The BBC hounding us wasn't, we could tolerate that. Ask the Accountant, oh dear, we'll back off. So yeah, it was scrapped that evening, Aaron. So there we go, people. Information update. If you watched and listened to last week's episode about double cabs, ignore it. HMRC have changed their minds. To be fair to HMRC, that was a pretty quick change of the decision. Like, it got announced the previous Monday and got scrapped 7 days later.
It's not unprecedented for them at the moment to reverse stuff, though, is it? It is. They've got previous at this point in time, haven't they? We don't want to talk about the last what do you call it? Group in Parliament, but it's not a good sign, though, is it? Is it the right thing to do? Because we kind of justified it last week, didn't we? In terms of there is some bad apples out there who are taking the mick out of the situation. But
but then really you look at
is it that big a deal?
Yeah, I've got a client who has a double pickup truck, all branded up, and they're driving around building garden rooms across the whole of Scotland. So they do have to transport their team members. So it is a legitimate case. But I can imagine HMRC giving us grief and wasting our time on it, regardless of its legitimacy. It's one less headache for us to deal with. I think the only problem is those proactive accountants and bookkeepers that contacted their clients straight away about this now look like idiots to their clients, because it's like, well, hang on a minute, you told me this was happening, now it's not.
Well,
it's frustrating from that.
Isn't that a good segue into the next one, though? Because talking about looking like idiots to our clients, if you're going to have to put some information out there, it never looks good, does it? When you've got to say that there's a price hike of what, 400%? Did you say on your post of some costs?
So let's see if the Ask the Accountant podcast can put some weight behind this topic and see if we can change that. I don't think this is going to change. So Companies House last week, very quietly, like very, very quietly, published a little article saying we're making some price changes. So we've gone from a £13 confirmation statement to a £34 confirmation statement, a £10, £12 company formation for £50. And these prices are just assuming that you're going to use electronic filing. If you're using paper, oh dear, it's going to cost you even more. And then like changing a company name. How often people decide, actually, I'm going to change tack, or I need to change my company name to bring it in got a new brand coming along, I want to rebrand that. Well, that's now a £50 charge for changing a company name, which if you're doing it on paper, fine, charge what they can charge what they like.
Yeah, agreed.
When we're doing it on a website or through software like Inform Direct or other company house formation softwares, I don't see the justification from going from £8 to £50. So it was very quietly done. This, like, there's a lot more press and PR and awareness of like, oh, from the 1st of April, you've got to provide an email address with a confirmation statement or company registration, because people were asking questions like, oh, does that have to be the business owner's address? Can it be a generic business email address? Or can it be the accountant or bookkeeper's address, like email address, like it is the postal address? So that has been clarified, though. That can be any email address as long as it's an active inbox. So that could, if you want to use your personal, your firm's inbox for your client's email address, absolutely fine. But there's so much press about that. There's so much awareness about the potential changes of P&Ls, and they've not really even decided how they're doing that. To then just drop out there via a blog update, in effect, on Companies House website. Oh, here's some new prices, and not really push it was, and it's not even fractional changes here. This is 400% in places. I just felt it was very underhand and hidden. And if they're planning, if their thoughts are, oh, well, this will help prevent people just registering companies left, right, and centre and never using them, I'm not sure £34 is going to do that. But for a confirmation statement, and then what is it now to set up a new company? 70 quid?
Yeah, no, 50, isn't it? But
I thought that was the name change. But but either way, like, I just don't think these prices are going to actually deter anyone from the fraudulent activities they're undertaking, and that's what they're saying this is for. We've yet to communicate it to our clients, but ultimately it's factual. It's on the website from HMRC. We'll send them links and screenshots to that. But when you're already arguing with clients about price increases of softwares, your fees, etc., this wasn't what I think anyone really expected, was it?
No, I don't think it. Well, was it expected? I think the timing's weird. But I do feel like we've been so fortunate to not have had a price increase in 15 years or whatever it is. I mean, it's something daft like that, isn't it? I think there's been an odd price here and there, but the actual.
I'd rather increase it by inflation every year, because then it's easy enough for us to explain to a client that going, look, we're just the middleman, but this happens every year. Whereas for us to turn around to clients and go, yeah, that price has changed for the first time in 15 years. It's not just changed a little bit, it's quadrupled.
I know. And it's the same as what we would tell our clients, right? Like if we were going to advise our clients about price increases, then it's annual. And it's the same what we would tell each other. Like you go to any conference, QuickBooks Connect, I bet there'll be someone talking at QuickBooks Connect over tomorrow about how to tackle price increases and how to, that'll come up at some point in one of the speaker sessions, right? And what we tell each other, and we keep putting it down there, is that, softly, slowly, have that building an annual price inflation and all that sort of stuff. That's what we've been told from day one, isn't it? And for Companies House not to take that approach has been weird, but it had to have come at some point. I mean, just to clarify a few things. First of all, they have emailed us. It was after the blog post, but they did email us to tell us. That's if you've got the mailing list on. It was, yeah.
The whirlwind of social media had already fully kicked in by then.
Yeah, exactly right. So they have emailed us. Incorporation was 50, but it was incorporation same day that's 78. So that's where that's come from. Yeah.
Which always baffled me, because 9 out of 10. So we use Inform Direct 9 out of 10 times. If I've got something registered, if I've applied for registration in the morning without paying for the speedy service, it's happened by the afternoon.
Yeah, I know. It sometimes doesn't make sense to pay that extra one, does it? I wonder how, like Inform Direct, you'll have to tell me because I don't know. So my software, well, I've had a few experience of this. I had one software that basically passed the cost. Well, every time I filed a confirmation statement, for example, I would just get a charge on my credit card that day or debit card or whatever that day. And they will just add like an admin fee of like £1 on it or something. Is Inform Direct, do you have to put your company's house account in to make the payment? How does it work?
No, so Inform Direct, to be fair, I'm exceptionally good with this. So you've got two options with Inform Direct. You can put your own company's house account in, which they do prefer you to do. And they have been encouraging people to do that. Or you can technically register it under their details, and they will just charge you for the confirmation statement or the company formation or whatever. But there's no admin charge at company's house Inform Direct. So a confirmation statement for me costs me what it would if I went direct to company's house.
Either way.
At Inform Direct.
Yeah. Because now you're starting to talk about bigger risk, aren't you, for the likes of Inform Direct? I don't know if they charge straight away or however they're going to work, but software,
they charge your card for every transaction at the time of processing.
There and then. Okay. So the risk is minimal. Yeah, but if it was more of a credit card, there might be some out there. I can't think of many, but there might be some, right, that are like that. Then that must be a real kind of risk factor for the software company going up, because, like you said, it's increased by 400% in some cases. Suddenly it's gone from, oh, that's a shame that they can't pay and we'll try and figure it, to actually could be substantial numbers, right? Like it could be, if you do 5 or so confirmation statements in a month and a couple of incorporations, that could be quite a substantial amount, couldn't it? So yeah, I wonder if that means that the software companies are going to have to do things differently. And being cynical, do you reckon that the extra funding going in means that software is going to get better APIs and better connections and stuff like that? Is that they've not said what the price increase is for, but do you reckon that's what it's going towards?
Yeah, I think I saw some references about fraud detection and minimalization and investment in infrastructure. Very generic PR kind of terms that you expect from these price increases. I would suggest, though, that companies' house are in a very enviable position at the moment because they're making more and more things digital.
Yeah.
So filing accounts has been digital for a long time. Filing confirmation statements has been digital for a long time. Recently, we've started being able to do DSO ones online, not through our softwares, but if we want to use like Inform Direct, we still have to print forms and send them to be signed and then posted with a check. But if the client wants to DSO on their company themselves, they can do directly through the website for the £10 charge. Refiling accounts can now be done electronically. Like, there's a lot more things that are becoming more and more automated. So companies' house, in theory, can reduce or redeploy their staff team elsewhere, which technically adds up to savings in my mind.
Yeah.
So for them to have all these good savings coming along at the moment, and then to increase everyone's fees doesn't really, that sounds like double dipping to me. They're getting the best of both worlds. But yeah, like, what would I like them to do with the money, I suppose, is the question we need to ask. And if companies' house are listening, I suppose, yeah, stronger APIs that let us do better, more important things, and just continuous modernization. Like, their website's horrific for filing and doing stuff. It's just so cumbersome. But yeah, like, I think I would want to see some improvements in this. I mean, if they turn around to us and said, look, actually, you're not going to get any improvements. This is just so we can afford the delivery of the software and technology to do the P&L side of things that the government want us to now do. So, okay, fair enough. At least it's justified. But yeah, as per usual, we've got the Dext approach towards a price increase of, oh, it's going to do stuff for our roadmap and stuff. It's like, cool, what? Well, it's going to do stuff for our roadmap. It's going to improve things. Cool, yeah, but what? It's going to
exactly.
So right, okay. So it's just a bit of a PR statement at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting. But I find it baffling that this is so many changes that are coming up at Companies House have had so much PR and awareness in our industry, and this kind of just went like and slipped through. Like surely Companies House don't get to just go, we're going to change our prices here. Our prices. Surely that's been signed off under legislation, under the government. Like, where's that come from to get to this point? That from what I've seen on LinkedIn and other channels, no one knew about this.
No. Like you said, it's been a bit of a stealthy approach, hasn't it? I mean, for a practice though, how are you thinking of approaching it in terms of clients? Because with it being such a short turnaround, in an ideal world, if we say they did communicate this 12 months ago, or it wouldn't have been that long, right? But imagine they did give us a real long lead up until the actual change. Then in an ideal world, you could just go, right, each annual price review you have with your clients, at that point, you'll explain to them that, just so you know, Companies House has gone up to X. The price is going to be now Y or whatever, you know, and you could bring that in, right? You could even go down as far as getting clients sign a new LOE each time of here's your new Companies House fee structure or whatever service you provide it under. So we could have had that, right? We could have had that time, but with such a short time frame, we're kind of we're just going to have to like we've already done it, right? We've put an email out and just explained to our whole client base, by the way, if you take this service out, we've now got to increase it to X to cover the costs of it. And here's the email from Companies House. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're kind of forced into this corner, aren't we? Of we're going to have to react in a probably not the way we'd want to react to it. We're forced into it. And they must know that this is what happens when they do it so quickly and so like that, isn't it? Like they need to give us that opportunity, don't they, to work with us in a better way, I think. And I think this is the only thing for us as accountants, and it's not just accountants, it's any kind of insolvency practitioners, solicitors, all of them, right? We're all going to be affected by this. Maybe there should have been a little bit more of a consultation period or something just to give us a heads up to go, right, this is going to happen, make changes. Because like you've already said, because we already know about the registered email address, because we already know about the other stuff, we've been able to slowly get things ready, put things into place, and it's not going to shock us. This one, it was a knee-jerk reaction that meant we've had to have a knee-jerk reaction, which just it makes everybody look like fools, really, in that case, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a much bigger challenge for pricing than people are realizing, because if you form a company for someone, say you're charging £200 for company formation, people are like, oh well, it's only 13 quid at Companies House, but I'd rather you do it and it's done properly and correctly. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's that put that price up to now? £240 to maintain the same profit margins. Confirmation statement though, when firms are already charging like £70 a year for a confirmation statement, we've then got to throw on, so that's now up to 90 to maintain that differential. When a client can just go, I just go to Companies House and read through the detail, press a button, I'll just do it myself. Actually, you could lose quite a bit of revenue and a lot of profit from this. So, like, yeah, we're looking at it in the moment. We're looking at what tools Informed Direct have got in the form of. So, Informed Direct already let us do an express completion of a confirmation statement, which basically, if you know nothing's changed, you go express completion. Do you want to get it authorized first or not? File. Done. So it takes us 10, 20 seconds to do a confirmation statement that way, which is great. But also they've now got an auto filing confirmation statement feature where they do the week before and it just files it when it's due, because we can go in and adjust data anytime, it's a bit of a redundant tool now, confirmation statements, because of technology is taken over. Like when you only had the option to file through paper, instead of filing loads of changes throughout the year, you just made all your changes pretty much on a confirmation statement and filed that. Whereas with tools like Inform Direct, if there's a change of share structure, I can do all of that straight away. In Direct, it goes straight to Company's House, updates everything, and actually the confirmation statement later that year is just a reconfirming of what I've already told it. So their auto publishing tool, if that can save us enough time, then we might turn around and go, well, actually, yeah, they've put the prices up, but we can find efficiencies elsewhere to offset that. So we don't need to change our pricing. Now we're just brainstorming ideas at the moment. We don't know what we will or won't do, but it's an option, is using the better tools to form companies quicker and do stuff like that. But the main one that's good, so changing a company, the amount of times I just turn around to a client and say, look, maybe 30 seconds on Inform Direct to type. Look, I'll do it now. I've typed over it, filed it. Don't worry about the £8 charge. It's just goodwill. I don't have that ability anymore. I've got to charge 50 for your name. So I think it's going to hit everyone on very different levels of, do I find solutions to make this as automated as possible for a confirmation statement so I don't have to increase my fees further, or do I increase my fees knowing that the firm down the road is not increasing the fees because they've done the automations, and now because of something as daft as a confirmation statement price, I could lose a client.
Yeah, and I think that it's all going to come down to individual practice preferences, right? I know some practices, and we're similar to you, I think, in the fact that confirmation statement for us is a separate line item on the, it's a separate service we offer. Clients to take it, they can't. Most of the time, if they're savvy enough, I will say to them, look, we're going to charge you X. You might as well just do it yourself. You know what you're doing, so go ahead and keep an eye out for the reminders and get it done. Or others will be like, no, you know what, for the extra 20% more, whatever we charge, it's well worth you doing it, right? But I do feel like for us, we started it as we didn't have any software and we were doing it the manual way of we'd pre-log into Company's House, print screen, because Company's House don't give us a lovely way of downloading the data, right? It is a very, very, there's no print option at the end. If they gave us like a nice little report at the end we could send off, brilliant, but we don't have that. So we were printing screen, put it into PDFs, bundling the PDFs, getting the email address, sending it over Adobe or whatever sign-in thing we were using at the time, and we were sending it that way and waiting for it to come through and then filing it, which obviously massively time consuming. There was a lot of work there. It was a nightmare.
If that's your process, you cannot not increase your prices. You've got to increase your prices.
Yeah. And that was all we really had until we found software. Software has made it so much easier for us, right? Like, I'll be honest, we've taken a little bit of a step back lately because we're not using a solution we used before, which was literally our practice management software it'll tick over to the right time. It'll send them an email with what was on the confirmation statement. Because for me, it is that importance of sending it over to them so they can spot if there's anything wrong.
Yeah.
At the moment, we need to now send every single one a confirmation statement to say, well, are you going to provide us an email address, or do you want to pay X amount to use our email address? Because we've set up a generic one, like you've said. So there's got to be that interaction with clients now. And previously with software, we were in a position where literally on the day or the day it was ready to send out, it would send it out. The email would be lovely with all the bits they would need to, and they would come back and we can file it from there. Now we've moved away from that. We're now struggling, not tried First Direct, so maybe that's the case that we need to look at. But our software we're using, which is our, it's connected to our county manager software, so KPM, it's COSEC, so the one that quite a few of them are using at the moment and kind of rebranding everything else. But it's such a clunky solution. The idea is that, yes, it would gather all the data for you and it'll put it into a client portal and it have there. But well, we don't want to have another client portal for a client to use, right? So that's never going to work for us. But there is generates a link that you can send out. But then you send this link out and it's like all these security questions to get in with like needing postcodes and needing this and needing everything else. But it's so poorly put together that actually, if it's asked for the last 4 digits of your postcode, which includes a space if you've decided to put a space in the postcode. So the client's got to know that they've got to put a space and then their last 3 digits. Little things like that where it just doesn't work. And all that ends up doing is then you're spending so much time administrating this whole process of having to talk to clients and get them through the hoops and the issues, answering the questions, all this and the other. I just feel like confirmation statement is one of those ones where there are cool solutions, like you've said. Like it seems like First Direct may have absolutely spot on, but they're very few and far between, aren't they? Yeah, most of the software out there isn't. It may help you press the file button. That's great. Like that's half the battle. In fact, I'd argue that's not even the battle, right? The battle is trying to get information. And I know, Client Engager gives us a great opportunity to be able to send out forms. So we're going to be able to get the client to say, do they want us to put an email address on, or do you want to use our email address? And we can have that all included. But then we've still got to tell them the rest of the stuff on the confirmation statement. And there's just not an easy solution out there, is there, that will just make things work well for it. And I feel like the reason for that is because it's never been a priority until now. And suddenly it's a priority, isn't it?
Yeah. And so our process at the moment is 21 days before confirmation statements due, Client Engager sends an automated email out saying, confirmation statements due. Has there been any changes? Here's a link to Company's House. WhatsApp Company's House. If there are changes you need to make, let us know. But 9 out of 10 times that's not, because they would have told us throughout the year. If there's changes, then what we do is we go in, we make the changes at Inform Direct, we export a document, a PDF, which is like the authorization PDF they give you, put it out into Client Engager, send that for e-signing, that gets e-signed, we press file. If they come back saying no changes, it's like, cool, we just file it. Because we've got the email saying no, as far as we're concerned, the data's right.
Yeah.
So it's, but I know that that's a fairly slick system compared to the majority out there.
99% of the stuff out there is, it sounds like First Direct's like 1 in a million that's kind of given it all that. Whereas the rest, again, because it was never a priority, it was never an issue. Like Andy says here, you never needed to charge for CSA ones. Like before, it wasn't an issue. It was never a problem, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the industry changes their pricing.
Now, I don't know if it's Johann that's gone or I've gone. Help. Has Johann lost his internet, or have I lost my internet? Just in case it's me that's lost my internet, I'm going to carry on talking while I jump onto YouTube. If anyone can tell me in the comment who's lost the internet, that would be great.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
Oh, you're back. Oh, good.
I wasn't sure.
I didn't know if it was you or me that lost internet.
But no, it's going to be interesting to see how firms react to this, but also clients. Clients have already been sensitive about, actually, I'll just form the company myself, or I'll do my confirmation statement myself, because they don't value their time and they don't see the expertise that's needed to do this correctly. But this is going to make them question it even more at these prices. And I think it's going to lead to more clients doing their own thing and getting it wrong. and then all of us having to pick up that mess.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I suppose it just means that as accountant, we've got to figure it out, and we, in terms of, we've got to start maybe taking it more seriously for some practices. Again, we took that decision to make it a separate line item, separate service. You know, we even asked them to sign the LOE. They've got to, if they want that service on, they've got to sign and say it's there. So yeah, maybe that's what everyone's going to have to do now. Because I do think if people are bundling it with other services, it makes it really difficult for these price increases, right? Unless you're doing annual price increase anyway, and hopefully it can absorb it. But if you're trying to pass on, it's the same with the software cost argument all over again, isn't it? It's third-party cost for accounting firm. We've got to be really careful. So yeah, it's going to be a debate that keeps rumbling on, I think. And I don't think there is a right or wrong answer, because it depends on your client base. But at the moment, because we've got that separate line item, because it is a separate service, I feel like we'll be able to, other than, have that conversation with a client or communicate with a client, we've got a better opportunity, haven't we, to be able to make sure that it doesn't affect our bottom line, basically, doesn't it? So yeah, interesting. Cool. And just thanks everyone who shouted out about the issues, and yeah, I think we're all back and running, so thanks for that.
Good old hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, cool. Let's talk about the QuickBooks event that's happening tomorrow. Because what's very interesting, so we need to clarify, this is a QuickBooks Get Connected event, which is the equivalent to one of their roadshow events. Okay.
Yep.
This is not the huge event where they spend far too much money on celebrities to be on the stage. Like, it's going to be bigger than one of the roadshow events that happens across the country and normally happens in the autumn, but it's not going to be to the same scale as QuickBooks Connect has been in the past. But what I am interested to see was all the tickets are gone. There's a waiting list. Like, I tried getting someone in on Thursday night into Friday. I tried all of my contacts at QuickBooks, the lot. I couldn't get them a ticket. No matter what.
And let's be honest, it's a big name as well. That's not going to be able to make it.
Yeah, it was a big name in the industry that wanted a ticket, and they're not coming now because there was no tickets left, and that's fine. First come, first serve. Completely get that. But normally you've got some reserved tickets in the bag just in case, but nothing. Literally. So yeah, if you've not got a ticket for QuickBooks Connect, Get Connected London, do not show up. We'd normally go, if you've not got a ticket yet, just turn up on the day, it'll be fine, to these like Connect roadshow events. But do not turn up if you've not got a ticket for tomorrow, basically, is the message, because they're gone. Like, it's going to be busy. I just can't believe how many tickets that they've got rid of. Got handed out, and how quickly it's gone. But yeah, Aaron, what are you looking forward to tomorrow? I mean, obviously, the tips and tricks bar by you and me is going to be the highlight of the day. But other than that, what are you looking forward to?
So before I answer that, Kirsty, there is no ticket. There've never been tickets for these ones. Basically, your name's going to be on the sign-in sheet at the beginning, and they will normally hand you over a little name badge, and that's kind of what the ticket is. So yeah, don't worry that you've not had a ticket. The fact you've had your multiple emails, a phone call as well, that's good of them. You must have a really attentive BDM, put it that way. But yeah, from a ticket point of view, there isn't a ticket as such. So yeah, you just, as long as you've got that email, you'll be absolutely fine. I'm looking forward to. Shall we like put the tinfoil hat on and think what we're hoping is going to happen? We're hoping that there's going to be some cool announcements, maybe a few surprises here and there. Maybe people weren't expecting to be there, from the industry and stuff. So I'm hoping for a couple of surprises. That's my hope. We don't know either way if that's going to happen. We know the roadmap obviously more than a lot of people because of we're privileged enough to be a part of the county council. So there's bits on there that I'm hoping that gets announced so that we can talk about it more. It'd be great. And be great to see
nice
that.
not to have the pain of death via law
Yeah,
on
exactly.
on my mind every time I talk about QuickBooks. Like, can I tell you this? Can I tell you that? I don't know.
So let's fingers crossed for that, because they haven't got a QuickBooks Connect, as you said, to announce these things. And okay, well, I'm going to sound very biased here, and shoot me, because I am the QuickBooks chap, so I'm allowed to. But I feel like it's almost like the fallow year of Glastonbury. You know how Glastonbury has like 2 great events in a row, and then they have to have a year they call it the fallow year, where they need to let the grass grow, right? I feel like that's what we're in at the moment. We're in a bit of you couldn't have got any better than last year in terms of announcements, in terms of what was put out there, what was kind of talked about, what was on the stage. So I do feel like, again, biased, but I do feel like they're allowed a bit of they don't need to come out swinging into that such effect, right? Like in reality, they could have announced 60 different things on the stage, and it would pale in comparison to what they announced last year. So I do believe, let's give them the time to kind of work away, come back a bit stronger, maybe for next year for announcements. But we know there's some announcements to come. We know there's still stuff being developed on. So it'd be great to see if any of that does get announced. And, if I could really, really want to learn more about it, it's going to be the AI stuff, right? But I feel like we're too soon for it.
Topic.
Yeah.
But I also don't think you need any huge event to go to all of your competitors in the FMS space and go, boof, Intuit Assist, AI. What you got? Come on, top trump me. What have you got to go against that? You just go, yeah, I'll just sit down and shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think that's the bit I want to see the most of.
Yeah,
I want to see this AI. Anything else is, I'd love it if they came out and explained more about reporting and showed the vision of reporting and the changes and why they've got the changes there.
It's the right time to do it, isn't it? They need to get that message out. We're advocates for it, so this is the right time to do it, right?
Definitely. So yeah, AI is the big one, though. That's the one I want them to go, this is what's coming this autumn, because that would be a year from the US version. And I think, that could be a huge, huge benefit for us all, is the AI tool.
Yeah, no. I think the fact that there's going to be some great speakers there as well makes it worthwhile for everyone, right? Like we said this a few times on the road shows last year, but the fact that they have the opportunity to go, right, here's some, leading industry speakers about topics that have nothing to do with QuickBooks. So you have the option of either going to a QuickBooks breakout session about reporting, or about payroll, or about practice manager, or whatever they want to try and show you, showcase the product for, or you don't have to do anything to do with QuickBooks at all. Here's an industry leader talking about how to retain your staff, or whatever the topic's going to be, right? And I feel like that's where, definitely for me, that's where the QuickBooks events are that, step different to what the others FMS providers will do, right? We've already said that some of the others are very much sell. This isn't a sell product. This is a turn up, like have an opportunity to learn something, get your CPD points, all that sort of stuff. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? So, yeah. And we're going to be podcasting as well. So, yeah, let's hope there is some announcements. Otherwise, it could be a short podcast.
It could be a very short podcast. But yeah, no, it's interesting that they've, blowing our own trumpets, but so we're running the tips and tricks bar. Basically, we're going to be there all day in between sessions for you guys to come up and ask us, what's the best feature? What can I do for this? I've got this problem. How do I solve that? And this has come off the back of Aaron and I being at all the roadshows last year and being pulled into conversations by the QuickBooks team members saying, look, this is the technical side of it. This is how the software would work for this. Would this work in practice? Yeah, and how, Aaron, what are your thoughts on this? How do you combat that?
Yeah, exactly.
QuickBooks kind of, right, that's really valuable to actually have people that are using the product day to day doing this side of things. So they asked us to do this, and I'm really looking forward to this, and meeting and greeting everyone and sharing, our passion for whatever features. I'll probably spend the whole day banging on about working papers. So if you don't want to know about working papers, don't come and talk to me.
And with the big changes to working papers, now's the time to talk about it, right? Like was it 5 days until the big change happened, so we've got to be ready for it, right? Like this is the time to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I just think that's great that they've brought in users to do that, to run that section of the event, which is brilliant for us because obviously we get to do it. But yeah, and there's no repeat speakers; they're all new speakers from last year's roadshow, which is always really nice as well. Because some events just have the same speakers again and again and again, and you just go, same speaker, same topic. Heard that last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. No, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a really good day.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And being in London as well. So, we get the opportunity to go see. I mean, I'm leaving literally the office in 7 minutes time to jump on the train to get into London. And yeah, it's always good to it's the first one of the season, isn't it, for us to kind of start it off and kind of get back into the swing of things and stuff. So yeah, it'd be good network as well. Kirsty's going to be there. There's other people in the chat that's going to be there as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to seeing everyone and seeing what gets announced and talking about it a bit more. So yeah, it'll be good fun. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Okay, so obviously you've got a time you've got to go from, Aaron. I've got a time I need to disappear from. So one topic that's come up a few times in the last few weeks in my firm with my clients, I'm curious to how your stance is, and I know we've seen this article on Accounting Web as well, is what's everyone doing about tax advice at the moment for 23 to 24? Sorry, 24 to 25. Get the right year. Because I'm fairly convinced we can't second guess what the budget's going to look like next week or in 2 weeks' time even.
2 weeks, isn't it? Yeah.
Because this is a government that's trying to stay in power in an election year. So they could give it all away, which means all of our advice based on what we think we know for 24, 25 is completely wrong. We have to go and do it all again. But then technically, all of that advice could change in November after a general election.
Yeah.
So how are you caveating your advice at the moment? Are you, like, for us, we've said we're not giving any advice until after the 6th of March. And even then we won't give advice until this is legislated, because we know how between the 6th of March and the 5th of April things can change. But trying to explain why that is to clients can be quite a challenge.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've always said to clients that it's eyeballs, not crystal balls. That's one of our actual core values at Bofix, right? Like we don't know. We can't second guess this. It doesn't matter at any point in the year. We can't guess what's going to happen. We would have said before about the P11D for the cab, two cab pickup trucks. That was a topic of conversation we've had many a times before. So for us, we've always caveated that we don't know what's going to be. But I think for us this time around, it is going to be a very, very interesting budget, isn't it? Like you've already said, it's an election year, so let's be honest. There's going to be elements in there that's going to come through, and there's going to be opportunity for us to or there's an opportunity for the government to show their best foot forward, and there's going to be a lot of, I'd imagine, positivity in the budget that they're going to want to push forward to keep them in power, right? Do I really think that there's going to be that much of a change? I think if we were going to look at bits we'd love to see change, it's going to be use of home allowance going up. Like, how long has that been there? Yeah. Maybe the mileage rate goes up as well. Do you know what I mean? There's items like that. I think they're the bits that I feel like are going to be nice wins for us, that if comes through and we get those sort of changes come through, it's going to be a nice conversation with the client, because oh, look, here's an allowance we've already been applying for you. It's just going to be better off for you going forward. But But I do feel like
the Telegraph this weekend, like an MP saying the dream solution for him would be up your tax threshold, tax-free allowance to £20,000, drop corp tax down to 20%, and increase the bracket to 75%, 75,000 before you go into the high profit corp tax. And it's like that seems a bit radical, but could you imagine how positive that conversation would be for a change with your client?
I know. And because it is just negativity at the moment, right? At the moment, it's looking at your structure if you've got multiple client companies and making sure that that's right. And the whole change from being a limited company to sole trader where it's not as beneficial as it used to be. So when is the time to move over? It just always feels like we're bearer of bad news at the moment. We're having those conversations, and it would be nice just to be able to go, look, here's some really good bits that's going to help your business go forward. Here's some positivity. Go grow. Like, decision moment, like grab it. Like, you know what I mean? Let's go for growth. Let's go hell for leather. It's at the moment where I've still got clients who are like, you know, oh, we're having to take the last X amount of time off because we don't want to hit this threshold, or we're having to slow down this to meet this. You know, it's just always balancing acts, isn't it? And what we want for the economy, what we want for the growth, is just to go, here's an amazing, you know, incentive to go out there and grow. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's take the brakes off and go for it. But I feel like that's too much of an opportunity, too much of a wish, isn't it, to get that going forward?
Yeah, like VAT threshold, I'd love to see them do something with that. Quite frankly, I don't care whether they make everyone over 10k go VAT registered, so everyone's on a level playing field, or they need to up this limit that's been sat at 85k for however many bleeding years, because inflation pushes you straight over it. So they're damaging the economy. Let's fix it, type thing.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll see. I mean, was it 2 weeks, you say? So
a week. Next week. Next Wednesday, isn't it? 6th of March. Is that next Wednesday?
Scary, isn't it? That is scary.
Okay, fair enough. Right. Okay, folks. We are calling this short because it is 29 minutes past 9, which is our normal finish time. We have only done 53 minutes worth of content because of we started late, technical issues.
Someone's going to get an email about this.
There's going to be a very strongly worded WhatsApp message. But yeah, thank you as always for joining us. If you are attending the QuickBooks event tomorrow, please come over and say hello. We will love to say hello to all of the people that listen to us. Any feedback you got for us, as always, we always take it on board. And
we have some top trumps as well.
And we've got some top trump cards as well. It's a shiny.
Which I'm not sure we're allowed to promote because it's not a QuickBooks event. But yeah, if you ask us, we've got them.
We've got some stuff in our back pocket. We'll do a funny handshake to hand it over. But yeah, I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll see you all next Monday live at 8:30 a.m. Just to clarify, a.m. on Monday.
A.m.
So thank you very much for tuning in. Of course, if you're listening into our podcast on a Wednesday or over the weekend, don't forget you can join us live on a Monday at 8:30 a.m. every week. So we'll see you all next week.
See you, everyone.
Goodbye.